guys, welcome or welcome back to Our Awaken. Is it just me, or does it almost seem as though society has like a codependency issue? As if we are a society of functioning addicts. And I say that because based off of just analyzing how society has been over time and how it is current day, if you notice, like over the generations, there was always a substance that was creating addiction and being misused by people. For example, you have drugs, you have alcohol, and now we are in a time where people are addicted to, can you guess what it is? This thing right here is one of those addictions. Back in the day, I was born in 1999. I know growing up, we had the sayings of crack is whack, and I've seen the commercials of the cigarettes causing like holes in people's throats. I've seen the sugar commercials where they talk about how sugar is addicting and how much sugar affects our bodies. So we've seen all those billboards and commercials talking about these things that create addictions within people. However, it's like we don't really see people talking a lot about this. And I'm not really sure if you guys have seen the videos of the kids throwing tantrums because their parents are taking away their devices, or when they're in school, the teachers confiscating their devices. Have y'all seen how these kids be reacting? And then on top of that, have y'all really thought about what is causing this reaction within them? Because it's almost like you took crack away from a crackhead. Like, these kids started going crazy, and I honestly think it's because they are addicts, which goes into what I was saying. Society right now, and it's not just the kids, it's also adults. There are people who can't go, and sometimes I'm guilty of it. Like, there are people who cannot go long periods of time without picking up their phones to check notifications and checking social media, checking to see if they got this latest like. So that alone proves my point when I say society is full of functioning addicts, and it's not healthy. And to be honest, the sad part about it is the way that these algorithms are, they're meant to give you that constant boost of dopamine, or even just the idea behind social media. Every like that you get, every comment, just every interaction or every video you find, those give you those little hits of dopamine. So it's like, just like how a crackhead, every hit that they take, you getting those interactions on social media is the equivalent to that. So when you aren't on your phone, or when you're not checking that notification, it's almost as if like you're getting like these withdrawals, like I need to pick up my phone, or like you feel this unease not knowing what's going on, and it very much gives addict. And the sad part about it is the kids, when it comes to alcohol and drugs, there's an age limit where these things can be used, because their ideology is that you are now of awareness to be able to make certain decisions for yourself. So at the end of the day, it's free will that you choose to participate in it. However, when it comes to these devices, there is no age limit. It's literally like a drug that is unregulated, and there is no one telling you how much to be on it or how much to take. These devices are literally like a drug that you have unlimited access to. No one is telling you how much to be on it. Like, there is no, oh, if you use your phone for this amount of hours, then you're gonna die. You know, there isn't any type of like fear to it. However, we do know that there are downsides to it. For example, a lot of people in the world's mental health is struggling because of social media. And just like any drug or alcohol, which I'm not promoting any of that to anybody right now, basically what I'm trying to say is, with those things, there tend to be like a regulation on it of like how much a person should do before there can be like negative consequences to it, versus say with your phone, like you literally have unlimited access to it, unless you decide like, okay, let me put some screen time, or let me have the discipline to not be on it. But the reality is, a lot of people don't have that discipline. Just like TikTok, for example, I chose to avoid that app from the very beginning because I've heard people tell me like they could be scrolling on it for 4 hours and not even have known that 4 hours has passed. And for me, it was just like, yeah, I'm not getting trapped in that because there is no way I'm about to allow 4 hours of my day to pass by just scrolling. I think that's crazy. So yeah, and there hasn't been any age limit discussed when it comes to when minors should have access to devices and social media. You know, back in the day we had just TVs, and you know, like I wasn't really born to experience anything else, but I know as a young girl that's when I started to hear about like Blackberries and sidekicks and the flip phone. Personally, I didn't have those things. I started off, I think, right before they started making iPhones. So imagine the young addicts that society is creating now. For example, we hear about the iPad kids. They're being given devices just to occupy them. And I understand that parents need a break and that they need some time to just decompress. I understand it can be like a lot to take care of a kid. However, the reality is you are unknowingly setting your kid up to become an addict if you're not regulating it. You shouldn't just be tossing a device to your kid and saying like, here, take this, like leave me alone. It shouldn't be that way. Find ways to entertain them without the devices. Either take them outside or get them some toys, get them something that's interactive. But giving them a phone at such a young age, I don't really understand why this isn't being talked about as much or why it's okay. And even though this is a problem that has come to a lot of people's attention, I honestly don't really think that they will create a resolution to the problem, for the simple fact that if you understand the world, the matrix that we live in, it is of benefit to them to have these young kids hooked to these devices at such a young age, because that is the world that we are heading in. We are in a digital era and things are only going to progress more digitally. So it's just, it's really sad because you would think like they would care about the well-being of people, but at the end of the day, us being online, people being addicted to their phones, the major corporations and the higher ups, it just lines their pockets, and unfortunately that's all that they care about. So I just want people to be really mindful about just the time that you're spending on these devices. You know, like it's okay to be on there and interact, you know, because again, a lot of things are online and there are benefits to being online. However, it's like make sure that you are able to detach from your device when necessary without feeling like this urge to partake, or like you feel like you have to pick up your phone. Think about this as being drugs, and honestly it might help.